Hello, Introduction to Engineering Design people. I am excited to announce that we are printing 3D things, finally. I'm super happy about this. Got everything up and running. I kind of wanted to give you an overview of what's happened so far. Kind of ignore my husband's logarithms over here. One of the first things that we tried to print is a benchy boat. A benchy boat is like a benchmark. It's to test your 3D printer, to give it a couple trials and see just in general, is it performing right? Is it leveled? How's the temperature? Can it do the cross hatching? Can it bridge gaps, etc.? And so one of the first things that happened is we started to do the boat, and about, I don't know, maybe 10 to 15 layers in, the boat bottom came loose. It didn't stick anymore on the surface, and as the printer head was rolling around, it just was dragging it with it and making all these clumpy, gross lines, so I had to quit that. Benchy should kind of look like this. This is the benchmark boat. I know it's hard to see, isn't it? But you can see that when it fills in the middles, let me see if I can get a good angle with some light shining in there. When it fills in the middle of these, it's not completely solid. It doesn't fill it full of material. It actually does this sort of lattice pattern. And so it saves on material, it saves on weight, it saves on time to build these things. But at the same time, this lattice pattern means it's not going to be just like a hollow shell that can crush if you squeeze it too hard. Here's a more complete benchy boat. There's some bubbling and weirdness around here, and that's a temperature issue. I don't know if there's any way I can fix that. And of course, I didn't complete it because it was like 6:30 on a Friday evening, and I was like, I don't want to get locked on campus. I'm going to have to stop this and maybe try again another day. But this took almost 2 hours to get this far. So I'm not sure how much longer it would take to finish it off. Maybe half an hour, good half an hour build time left on that. But there's a benchy boat. I'm going to talk about benchy boat again in a minute. So then I tried to print. I made this little tag here, put some letters on it. It's kind of an oval with a fillet on the top edge, and it's got this little extra circle I made, and I put some letters on that and extruded them. I'm having trouble finding. There we go, a good angle with the light. Oh, that's great right there. Kind of see it. You can kind of see all the little details of how the 3D print's actually laid down in this one. I'm gonna do that. But anyways, I wanted to print this guy, and the printer printed this guy. I don't know why, but it's a very nice little cylinder. When I looked at what it was printing, or what it thought it was printing, it actually was trying to print, I think, the negative space, like this cylinder hole through it here. I had made it a little bit larger originally before I made it this size. And that's why it printed this, I think. It was printing the inside. And then it tried to print like one of these S's when it was already like, I don't know, this far up off the ground. So I had to fix that. I went and changed the file types, and that fixed the problem. This is the next thing I printed. So once I saw it worked, pretty much proof right there that it works, I printed one of my students' items, and I made it way too big, and this one took over 2 hours to make, and so I'm going to have to redo it also because, I don't know if y'all can tell from looking, there was a bit of a warp across the bottom of it. As it was printing, this part of it started pulling up off of the surface. And that was a leveling problem. It wasn't quite level, and as you know, you put new material down, it would stick and pull slightly, and so this whole part right here, you can probably see the curvature of it better with the light in this angle. This all curves down up here. And so like it should be about that wide, and over here it's a little bit thinner. On something this big it's kind of noticeable, but on something small that's a very, very noticeable issue. Like to me right here. So here's another charm I made, and it had that issue, and so did this 32 had an issue as well. But these are some charms designed by students that I made up, that we printed up. And they're much better after I fix. Oh no, this one's the really bad one. This one you can barely tell. This one, you can really tell. It's really skinny. So anyways, I had to fix that issue with the curling. I started to print this one, and this corner is unbearably skinny. So I said, okay, I've got to fix it. I leveled it out, and it works pretty well now. It doesn't have that curve in the bottom. Another student design right here. I don't know if it's supposed to be just a design or if it kind of looks like Deathly Hallows. It reminded a bunch of us of Deathly Hallows. I'll have to ask her. Got some tags with letters on them. This one's supposed to say Jason D for Jason Derulo. Someone likes Jason Derulo. I've got a tiny little sword. And a larger sword with some letters on it. Anyway, these are generally what I've been making with the printer right now. I designed this sort of Mobius strip thing here with a twist in it. And I noticed it actually did a build-up underneath here. I'd have to come in and with a hot tool of some sort melt some of that back off of there so it's smooth like the top of it. But hey, there's some stuff we've been building. I'm going to try to make kind of within this range of size. I mean, these guys could probably stand to go a bit bigger, but probably around no bigger footprint than these guys. These guys are about an hour to print each of them. I'd rather have smaller items that are easier to print. So anyhow, I figured I'd show y'all what we've been printing so far. I've seen a lot of folks, the virtual students, submit their charms, and I'm going to start printing some of those up too. It's just going to be a bit because I can do about 5 a day reasonably, because some of them take about an hour, and then I have to also process them properly in between classes. Yeah, if you have any questions about the charms or like what we're going to do with them, if you notice I did one of these plastic lace things to stick this one on. I also have some keychains. If you have any questions about charms or what yours might look like, or if I'm going to get different colors or how to make it multicolored, yeah, that's complicated. I don't think I can do that with the printer I've got, but I will, yeah, just shoot me an email, send me a message. I'm going to try to double check before I print any of your charms that that's exactly what you want. Okay, y'all have a good one, and I will talk to you soon.